Hey guys, welcome to the Live Well, brought to you by Digital Sportsman, where we get together with our community and talk fishing. The show's fixing to start, we're getting everything ready. But in the meantime, we want to tell you about our fine partners that not only make this show possible, but are companies that we absolutely love and stand behind. Groove Fishing, changing the norm of tackle storage. Sonar Pros, specializing in high-end installations across all electronic brands. Go where the pros go. Lip Sticker Fishing, specializing in putting clients on giant Lake Lanier bass. Bill Payne's Guide Service, fish with a legend on Lake Allatoona, seasonal smallmouth trips, or even get your sonar dialed in. Brooks Anderson Fishing, guide trips and educating today's anglers on Lake Lanier. Big League Charters, fish with a pro on Tellico, Fort Loudon, Watts Bar, and Chickamauga. Money Saver Lure Retriever, designed to break your lure free from almost any snag. Fishers of Hope, benefit fishing tournaments to help people in need. Serve IT, industry-leading IT services for your business. Change the way you manage IT. Turner Tire, Jasper, Georgia's most trusted family-owned tire center. Atlanta Safe House, the trusted source for safes and gun safes in Tennessee, Georgia, Kentucky, and Alabama. And of course, Digital Sportsman, a new way to discover and book unforgettable outdoor experiences with local trusted guides. Go to fngo.com to get direct links to all our fine partners. Get ready and let's talk fishing. All right, we are live. Welcome to the Live Well this Thursday night here at FNGO. Hope you guys have had a fantastic day. I know I have, surrounded by some good guys. We've had some good conversation leading up into the show. Got an excellent guest for you guys tonight, and Mr. Tim's back there running the board, typing already. And but let me go ahead, take care of a few things first, little housekeeping things. Couple of tournaments I want you guys to know about that we're going to be throwing here. What's up, all you guys on TikTok? Appreciate you joining us. Now, you're going to, real quick, the guys on TikTok, you're going to be able to see me and Tony, but you're going to hear a couple other voices. All right, that'll be our guest tonight and everything. If you want to get the full experience, go to YouTube at FNGO, and you can see it all. But I want to talk to you about, number one, December 6th. Go ahead and mark your calendars for the Toys for Tots tournament that we I guess this is going to be an annual thing now, Tim, every year.
I believe so.
I think so. So we'll be doing a lot more information will be coming out on our Fish North Georgia pages, so you can check that out there. And then one that just started coming together today, September 6th at Little Hall, we're going to throw a benefit tournament for our buddy Ryan Sheffield. All right. He had a little medical issue, had some surgery, going to be out of work for a while. And we're just going to do it because we're nice and we like him, and we're going to help him out while he's out of, I guess, make up some money while he's out of work and everything.
Yeah.
But that's going to be September 6th. It's going to be a $100 entry fee, 50-50, 50 to Ryan and his family, 50 payback. It's going to be 1 in 6 boats, all that kind of stuff. The information is on FNGO's group page. That sound right? Did I say all that right?
Yeah.
Say all that right? All right. So anyway, you guys, like I said, appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Gonna have a good show. And since the guy to my right is absolutely in love with our guest and has got the biggest bro crush I've ever seen, I'm gonna let you, Alex, introduce our guest tonight and get the show started.
All right. So tonight we've got Andrew Blair. He's owner of Tactical Fishing Company. He's an Army veteran, and he's a great dude, great content creator, and I'm sure most of y'all know who he is, and if you don't, then you need to. So, what's up, Andrew?
What's going on, man?
Oh, not much.
Wait a second.
A little awkward, wasn't it?
That was not. I expected more.
More? What are you talking about?
I mean, because if we were off the air, you'd be like, "Oh man, he's like awesome. He's great." You were like very reserved, like you tried to be professional, kind of, walked away through. It's okay to slobber.
No,
it's okay to slobber. I'm just playing with you, man. Hey, Andrew, listen, appreciate you joining us. I know that the last time, what's up, Lanier on TikTok? I know it's the last time I wasn't here, but Tony and them were going to run the show with you, and
hijacked it.
He ended up having.
He drove the bus.
He had to drive the bus on some of it, but we had, for those that don't know, up here in Marble Hill, we had somebody run into a telephone pole.
Yep.
And it knocked out the power that night, and we were at Cherry Street.
Yeah.
We were at Cherry Street, kind of getting
Street.
our drink on, having a little fun. And so they were trying to text us and all that and couldn't get a hold of me. So I'm sorry like that. But I appreciate you being willing to come back on and talk to us tonight.
Oh yeah, man. I'm excited. We had a good conversation to start it, and ended up being fun just talking to the chat. So
yeah.
Well, Well, we appreciate. Not too many guests on this show have been smart enough to keep it going.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So we appreciate.
We,
did a
we were
great
all
job.
impressed.
Yeah.
we were all
That's
impressed.
what he was. Casey Weaver says, "How cute Alex thinks he is." You didn't say that, huh?
Who's Casey Weaver?
I don't know who Casey Weaver is, but still. Anyway,
You're cute,
all right, so,
evidently. So
see, first of all, you are a veteran.
Yeah.
What was you in?
I was in the Army.
Okay. Well, from here at Fish North Georgia, thank you very much for your service.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely, that big time. That's very important that we always recognize those that are willing to do that sacrifice. If you want, real quick, because not everybody on here knows you, kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we're just going to pick your brain for the rest of the night.
Hey, so you already said the name. It's Andrew Blair. I'm in South Carolina. We just moved here from Maryland about a year ago. I am a veteran. I was medically retired for 12 years. Kayak fish primarily. I've been kayak fishing for about 6 or 7 years. Been fishing my whole life. I obviously own Tactical Fishing, like they said. Started the brand as content only, right? So I do my own personal content, Andrew Blair Fishing and Tactical Fishing. And it's just become an obsession ever since. I got 3 lovely small kids in there. You might hear them at some point, and a wife that puts up with all the fishing stuff. So, it's all about having fun for us. And Alex is a good friend of mine. And Tony, I talk to Tony a lot now too. But,
Yep.
It's fun.
Yes, sir.
It's all been fun.
That's pretty cool. I know what it means to have 3 kids surrounding you and a wife back there in the corner out there. So, hey, listen, I got you. I got you. So, Tony, how do you want to start this night? We can go content creation. We can go what they're biting right now. We can talk kayak fishing. I'm going to let you throw out the first question.
I don't know. I mean,
I'm giving you guys the option tonight.
man, you're just throwing us right there. Under the
Hell yeah, I'm
bus.
throwing you under the bus.
He got an introduction. I got to come up with a topic. So
That means your ass ain't prepared.
no, well, I'm not. There's so much stuff I can talk about. I mean, we could talk cameras. We could talk, baits.
Whatever you want. What are you interested in talking to Andrew about right now?
So, Andrew, you and I talked yesterday a little bit, and we talked about a little bit of the stuff you got coming out, stuff you designed, and I found it really interesting. So, I'm gonna go this route.
Okay.
How'd you get started in bait making to the point you're at now? Because hearing you talk yesterday just through text, I was really impressed. I mean, like, you really get into that stuff. Like, so how did you first get into it, and what was that aha moment, or that, man, this is what I want to do?
So, like most bait makers now, and I don't have the TikTok going, but that's really where I started doing a lot of the live shows and stuff. So TikTok fans know me. Hey, it's been a long time since I've been live over there, but started making plastics around COVID time, like most general bait makers right now. Got COVID quarantine with my daughter for a week. I loved the Megabass. I can't even remember what they're called anymore. Spark Shad or Spunk Shad, one of them. Small Megabass soft plastics. And I wanted the silicone mold and make my own, so I started doing that. Bought aluminum molds. Some friends wanted them, so we started, making them for people. And as you start to make plastics and have fishing lures, you always find that one or two thing that you don't like, right? And that's with store-bought stuff too. You're like, oh man, if this one and this one had a baby, this is the bait I'd want. So my first one was the bomber bug, a creature bait. I'm a creature bait guy. I like, fat leg creature bait. So I said, you know what, let's draw one up. So we sketched it up and said, how much does that cost? He gave me a number, and I was a little hesitant, but as soon as I designed this bait and started catching fish on it, it became, okay, now let's design the rest of them. And that's where it started getting really reliant on people like Alex, and, Tony's going to get a sample bait. Alex has seen it. Anglers from across the country that I'm friends with from the Army or through fishing and content, right? Because that's the advantage. I make the content too. That's not related to my brand. So you meet all these people, you're like, hey, what do you guys fish down here? What do you fish in Florida? What do you fish in Maryland, right? Our background is snakehead and bass. So hollow body frogs came with that too. And then it just became obsessive. I think I was telling Tony, I enjoy drawing and designing, I think, at this point, more than making the baits. Because it's really a different moment, right? When you draw something on paper to see it in CAD and you're tweaking CAD, you get the mold cut, right? A little 2-cavity test mold, and then you're catching fish on it, or you're tweaking it again, and then you're seeing people catch on it. So it snowballed pretty fast the past 2 years with the mold designs. it's not my primary job. I'm still work for the Army in some capacity as a contractor. So I have the advantage of reinvesting, and that's what we do. We just mold after mold until we're satisfied, which I'm going to have to cut off this year because we're going to keep going down a rabbit hole. But,
I don't, and I don't think really folks understand out in content creation world, social media world, the amount of effort it takes to make plastics. We see the kids or whatever you want to say on social media, they're pouring, they're buying the do-it molds, they're doing stuff like that. But to go and design, have somebody cut an aluminum mold, the investment that's there, that's a commitment, almost like buying a boat or something like that. I mean, you're
Bill, it ain't cheap.
No, I mean, and having that custom design, CAD work, and all that stuff. I mean, I've said it before on here. Look, if you're making mold, and Andrew, you can probably elaborate well on this. If you're making baits, guess what? There's 5,000 of you out there that's making the same stick bait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Eventually, and you did a video on it, as a matter of fact. Eventually, you're going to have to graduate. If you're thinking you're going to be a bait maker, you've got to graduate past. And that takes an investment. And another thing, real quick, I'm going to fan out a little bit, dude. I thought it was so cool that you asked me to, try the bait. I thought that was really cool. I got home last night. I said, "Hey, Andrew's going to send me a bait to try out." I thought that was really cool. First time I've ever done that.
I'll show him. I brought it in here just to show because it's something. It's we're and that's a lot of, I think, what people are scared to do right now is everything is so secretive, right?
Yeah.
And the problem with the bait making industry is you'll get copied. And any big bait maker can come and if they see the MRE or whatever and they want to copy it, they can make it and they can produce it faster than I can, right? It's inevitable. It's going to happen. But at a level that I'm at, I would rather send out these designs and someone tell me it sucks or not, what to fix in a whole bunch of different fisheries, because the mindset of staying to where you're local, it will only get you so far if you want this as a career, right? Like if you look at the evolution of a Sixth Sense, right? Sixth Sense, I remember watching Milliken when I first started making content, and they were pumping out rods, but hardly any of these baits that he's throwing now. And it's because they're traveling the country and they're fishing these different spots and getting input. But this is it's just a bigger version of our craw. It's a 4.19 inch, and I did 419 because nobody has it, and that's my birthday. So a little thicker of a leg punch bug, but it kicks super hard, fits really good on the back of a bigger jig, and a shaky head, which is what I love fishing. So Tony's gonna get some of these. Alex already knows he's getting some. If any of y'all want to try them, I'll run some for you, test them out. But it's people like Tony and Alex and our team that really help me dial them in because I don't fish all these techniques, right? And it's hard to make a bait specified if you're like scoping. I don't scope. Alex does. So we got some stuff we're going to work on in the future, but I can't do that myself. So
Right.
I got you. There's only so much that can go time that you got right there. So
a
couple of things. Chandler Irwin. I think Chandler jumped over from TikTok over here to YouTube. So pretty sure that, guys, if you're watching on TikTok and you want to get the full experience, go to YouTube at FNGO and you can watch all the camera angles and see Mr. Andrew Blair in his glory right there. But he says those are pretty. You might have to get me some of those. And you should. Alex has brought every single one of them. So as he's holding one up, I've got one in my hand, feeling it and everything. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the thing is, if you can make the connection with these guys, even if a bigger company can come copy your bait and all that, they'll be loyal to you. There's a lot of guys that would much rather buy from you or a company like you than to buy from a big brand manufacturer and all that. But you're including them in the process right here. So that's a pretty big thing. I know you guys like it. I hear him talk about you a lot.
I mean, he's creating even if he does get copied, he's creating a group of folks around him. Trust me, anytime I post a video about anything tactical fishing, I get comments from just other people that I've not seen before. Like, dude, that's the best bait ever. So he's creating a group that if somebody copies him, they're going to probably get an earful pretty quick.
It's a community, man.
Yep.
That's what it is. And
100%.
TikTok is a really good platform for that. That's where I really focused heavy. Did a lot of live shows, making the plastics and talking. I'm more about the education piece, right? Like I rarely drop my website. I rarely talk about pricing. I want people to understand why they were made, that I nerd out. I told Tony, I'll nerd out about the weeds of these of techniques and stuff for hours, right? So, TikTok really accelerated. That's our biggest platform for tactical fishing, at least. And for me, I do my own thing separate. I kind of mesh them every once in a while. Some people don't know I own the brand unless I say it, and I keep it that way for a reason. You know, it's TikTok's a great platform to educate, and that's the whole point of it. You want to build anglers, right? You don't want to segment people out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just scrolling, saw his lives.
You know I'm gonna make fun of you all night, right?
Go ahead.
Listen, because he goes, listen. He looked at me, and goes, "That's how we met."
I'm gonna get them in our group chat. We have a group chat. They're probably watching this.
Yeah,
They are.
They are. Oh yeah.
But in our comments again, TikTok better over here on YouTube. Just gonna let you guys know right now, FNGO. But in our comments, there's a lot of very high praise for you and what you're doing right there. Doc Locke, I haven't seen that name before. Pull that up.
It's Alan.
Alan.
He's my local photographer. No, he's one of my best friends. He's on our team. I'm Jackson Kayak's team with me too, but he does phenomenal photography and videography. If you see any of the cinematic stuff come from us, it's him right there. So
yeah, he does good work.
Big up to him.
Man, that guy who runs TFC really has been able to help the community, and I hope that people continue to support what he's doing. And listen, I'll be honest with you. Like a lot when these guys come in here and they talk, and I tease Alex too, because when he's back there, we always let him give the shout outs and everything. And we let you do that. But it's funny, but they really do. They really have bought into what you're doing. Most of the time, I can tell when they really like a company and when they really like a guy and what they're doing and all that. Because I sit back and watch them. They're like my kids, you know, and everything. But they really love. I mean, seriously, they really love what you're doing.
Well,
and,
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'll say it. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I've not reached out and tried to get on sponsorships with anybody. If I try a bait and I truly like something, I'll promote it. I mean, because that's what, I mean, you know, that's what it takes. And this is one of those, I mean, tactical fishing has been one of those ones that every time I bought something, I've gotten bid on it. It's worked. I trust it. I use it. I mean, I buy it more and more, you know, each time I do it. So it's a good product. I mean, it really is a good product. And then getting to meet Andrew and talking to him through private message, stuff like that. He's a really cool dude. You know, just, I mean, it's really, he's doing it the right way, but he's also making a stand-up product to go behind it.
Yeah,
so
no, for sure.
It's not just a, you know.
We have a running little joke. I don't know if you're in on it. I don't know if you're in on it, but when something gets said, I don't know what it is, but we always bet the first thing coming out of your mouth is tactical.
Yeah,
like it's tactical, dude. Like serious. But it does go. I know I'm giving you a hard time, but in all seriousness, it's because you like the products and everything. You fish them. I know you do. Like ridiculously love the products.
So
like, you really do.
It's the only
impressive.
plastic I throw besides one color of stick bait.
Right.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're consistent.
And when he makes that color, I won't use that brand anymore.
I know. I owe you.
Okay, what color? Okay, what color?
Monster shad.
Like the one like
Senko's, yeah.
Like the Senko. Let me tell you something. That is the best. I'm gonna tell you this. Yamamoto makes it. That is the #1 spotted bass Senko color on Lake Lanier. I don't care what anybody says. So if you can make that, you'll lock in, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I already made some. I owe Alex. He knows. I gotta rotate it in.
I get it. I get it. All right, so I get it. So real quick, go up a little bit because now we're getting a couple of questions. I want to make sure I get them all. So the first one was going up. Somebody was asking I know it might have been said, but where can they buy your products? If you want to go ahead and shout out your website, let's get that out of the way.
Tacticalfishingco.com.
And eventually, because I've talked to them, we're going to get you stuff here at Fish North Georgia. So I just got to make the order, and I got to get with Alex. You sent me some colors, didn't you?
Yeah.
So we're getting that order up to have you here in that. Andrew Salt of the Earth. I said, well, I'm going very cool. Hear nothing but great things about tactical. The swagger stick gets thumped. There was another question I saw. Yeah, Jim Wright, right there. I don't know how you want to do this, but he wants your address.
So Jim and I fished together at Wedowee, and he reached out to me the other day about getting in touch with Andrew as far as address goes. And I told him to reach out to you, Andrew. So I don't know if he did or not. He makes he makes jigs and like he pours shaky heads and stuff like that. So I guess y'all talked during the last time we were on, and we lost power. I don't know, but he'd reached out to me. So
he can message me on Facebook, or Tony. Just I'll send it to you.
Right.
I don't know why my phone is doing this hand gesture.
Sorry, Jim. I forgot to.
That's totally cool.
Relay that information.
Now,
no, it's all good.
Let's see. I have a question already in mind, but I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Doc Locke says you're a great leader. His advice has changed my outlook on content and how to create it.
Yep.
He saw something in me and ran with it and has encouraged me to believe in what I put out. That's good advice. Steve Billington doesn't use any other plastics. That's pretty cool right there. Tactical bait works even for shoalies, you local Georgia guys. That's good to know. That's good to know. Doc says he needs a 5/0 shaky head, though.
We know, Alan. No, so
we know.
All right, so there are a few in the pipe, just so shaky head worm. That is absolutely on the docket, right? And I owe Alan pictures. We've already drawn that up. We worked with Will Colley. He fished MPFL last year. He's moving stuff. So him and I worked on a shaky head bait. We're going to kind of base it off of our private in terms of, this is my favorite right now. It's our speed worm. But the ribs, but we're going to taper, flat bottom it. Drop shot worm has to come. The 5-inch swim bait, it's in the pipe too. We already have it ready to go.
There's
a lot of things coming. It's just these guys, it's the peer pressure. They're like, oh, I need this. And I'm like, no, I'm done with molds for a little bit. And then the next week I got 5 test molds ready to go. It's like,
look at how old I look with my glasses pulled almost.
Can you see that worm there, Pawpaw?
I got to take my glasses down to be able to see.
Can you see the worm, Pawpaw?
Yeah, I do see. Pawpaw sees the worm, but it's also got that split tail. That's what I noticed on the end of the speed worm.
Yeah,
because that's what I said. It's got a split tail. Let's see. Let me make sure I didn't miss nothing. Very cool looking a hollow belly frog. He's got, listen,
the lizard right here.
Listen, your whole daggum lineup is sitting right here, right beside me.
This is the lizard, and then
the lizard,
the drakes too, the little baby.
Yeah,
duck.
the lizard,
a baby duck. I'll be damned. Look at that.
With the frogs, again, I was in Maryland, and snakehead we consider it a sport fish, right? We're going to leave the fisheries biologist take of impact and invasive out of this, right? They are very fun to catch, and we have tournaments for them. So our frogs are all designed with a specific plastic. It's self-healing, and they're very good for snakehead. So obviously for bass, they work just as good. But you'll see some weird things like blades and things of that nature. We notice flashers on the back of frogs, trigger fish that are stunted, sitting and waiting, not committing. And a lot of frogs, beefier hooks, right? A little smaller profile, but we bass fish up there as well, and they do phenomenal. So that's the other half. We have a whole set of other guys that help me design these. They're all up in Maryland still. I segment the plastics and the snakehead away from each other just because some of them don't even fish plastics. So
I got you. Stephanie on TikTok, my new favorite show. Well, you're our new favorite viewer. So there you go. Appreciate you watching us, Stephanie. Now listen, so I got the duck in my hand and the frog, and I see this. Like, I don't know that I've ever held a Nick D. We ain't doing that today. At lunchtime, he was the one asking all them questions. He threw out another question today. We'll talk about it later. We'll get to it.
Different rabbit hole.
But this is very unique. From what from standard frogs and things like that. From the texture to the hooks. The hooks are, they're not real wide.
Even the size of it. I mean,
it's not big, but like it's got the little blade on the bottom and everything. And then the duck is just, I bet I could get that pounded in a couple places. And I don't even frog fish. I'm not much of that. But let me ask you, of all the baits that you make, what's your favorite?
Out of anything period?
Of anything period that you make, what's your favorite? And what do you fish with the most?
Ooh, that has changed drastically because of where I've moved. My favorite's always going to be the bug because it was the first, and I'm a creature bait guy. The bomber bug, it's the first bait I ever drew. I'm a creature bait guy. Fish them on the back of a jig. I don't like a lot of kicking action on my jigs. I like big profile. So the bug is probably my favorite next to the MRE. The MRE is the mistake that went right. And we talked about this last time, but this bait here, I would nerd out with Tony on the history of how this started. And this is supposed to be a Ned rig bait. I don't know if Jack's watching, but my buddy Jack and I were trying, we were smallmouth fishing in the winter, doing smallmouth tournaments up in the Potomac. And we needed a stunted craw appearance, right? Because the studies that we saw showed that fish were eating wounded crawfish with ripped appendages, right? Because they're less likely to defend themselves. They give off different scent than a healed craw. So we took a minnow, fits on a Ned head really well. and we made 2 tails. It has a little flange, so it will kick on you. And then we put it on a chatterbait, and that kind of changed how everybody looked at the bait. So it was designed for a finesse presentation, like a minnow digging on the bottom, right? On the back of a chatterbait or a spinnerbait that you don't want that thump. You just want a little shimmy on the back or even a swim jig. That's what everybody knows it for now. So the MRE is probably, I'm most proud of this one. My favorite is still the bug.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to throw that thing on an underspin either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
Thad's in the comments. He had surgery today, so he might not be. Hope he gets.
Oh, he is. He's here.
He's here.
He's here.
Oh, there he is. So yeah, Thad changed my mind. I was throwing our POG, we drew our paddle tail, and this is on a saltwater jig head, an owner jig head. I was throwing these on underspins. And Thad sent me a picture of a 9.5 pound fish and was like, "Don't sleep on the underspin MRE." And then we all started throwing it, and that was just another use for it. So.
Oh, yeah. That makes it. Scroll on up. There was T-Tom's had a serious question up there. Keep on going up. All the way to the top. Right there. 8:22 p.m. What time is it now? See how far behind we are. We ain't but 4 minutes behind, so we ain't that bad. Mr. Andrew. That was very polite of him.
Yeah.
Mr. Andrew, do you have an opinion on some of the newer color shift powders or dusting techniques? Do you like to keep it simple or spending time exploring, the growing techniques?
So I do like shift and mica powders. I think they make really interesting patterns and colorways. If you look a lot at your oily gizzard shad looking bait fish, right? They have that holographic sheen. These powders are going to let you replicate it. The problem with manufacturing them on a level that I am right now, it is too cost heavy, right? So although I would love to really dive into some specific match the hatch forage colors with mica and shift powders, I do have some color shifts that are like from Dead On Plastics. They're bottled, same cost. It's really hard to invest that much money on one color, right? When it's double or triple the price of something else. That's the straight up honest answer. Because when you get into powders, it gets expensive, although they are amazing looking. World's Worst Fishing on YouTube, he's where I learned to make baits. And Chris Jones will really, some of the patterns he gets are as real as you can get it in a swim bait. It is phenomenal, and he uses a lot of those. But when it comes to making as many as I do at this point, I love experimenting, right? They know I buy stuff to buy it and make colors, and then I can't make them because it's just too much, right? Electric shad costs twice as a standard color because of the flake in it, right?
Yeah.
I make it, but I only make it in one bait for that reason. So same thing with the micas.
Okay, that makes sense. Phil Hutchinson says he wants to throw that duck for some brown trout. That would work.
So the
That
duck,
would work.
the
Yeah,
duck
the
is
duck.
pretty cool. So it's a self-walking bait. And I took it off the site because we're adjusting one or two things with how the hooks are hit on the back. But if you just put rod tip down, slow retrieve, it wobbles itself. I have video on it. So that was more of a search bait, right? That's our search bait. The Rizzard, that loop on the front, you don't have to loop knot it. A lot of people loop knot when they're walking the dog, right? You don't have to do that. And that one wobbles too. It does a little head shake on its own. So we the Rizzard was an old model we had, one of our first 2 frogs I drew. We brought it back, but we added things that we wanted to change, right? So both very different. The duck slays some smallmouth. We were throwing that in the river and I couldn't keep them off it.
I could see that. I mean, I really could see that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I'm reading the comments while you're talking. I'm reading the comments. And again, guys on TikTok, if you guys got questions, throw them out there as well, or come over here on YouTube to FNGO. But I'm just reading the comments of, the MRE and the swagger stick. I see a lot about that. MRE is the one around here that it seems like it comes out of y'all's mouth like every other statement you guys talk about. This is the swagger.
That's the one I've been catching the big ones on lately.
The
Right
big
there.
ones.
Yeah,
the big ones.
I put that on a
Like
shaky
you've
head.
been catching the big ones.
Yeah, boy.
Hey, listen, but for you guys that fish Lanier, yeah, boy. Boys in the hood here. So anyway, but Alex fishes Lanier a lot, and this is basically what you like throwing on the shaky head,
Yes, sir.
right there. So, and this is the swagger stick.
Yep.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna put you on the spot with your hero right here in front of us.
Okay.
What makes this any better than the next worm?
It's salted.
Okay,
So
I mean, you love it for a reason. Tell me why you love it. Sell me on it.
I mean, it
Sell
gets
me.
bit. It just gets bit.
Sell me on it.
So I bought some Swagger sticks. I was an MRE guy. I finally made a big order. I said big for me order the other day, and I threw it. Third cast got bit on it. First time ever throwing it. And I got to talk with Andrew yesterday. I think it was yesterday we talked about how he made it and what
It's a multi-purpose worm.
Right. I mean,
So
I'm getting ready to ask that
for your wacky.
Yep.
And you can break it off. You can pull the tail off and use it on an Ed rig.
That's what I was getting ready to ask. I was looking at, if you guys can't see it, so this very first part's very short, a lot of ribs. Yeah, you can see it on his. So a lot of ribs, and it got the middle section, and then this back is like a totally different design of a worm as far as the ribs and all that. So, yeah, I was getting ready to say, can you do other things with this? And you just you sold me on it.
And it takes
Good
color.
job.
It takes color really well. And that was part of his explanation yesterday, because when I was throwing, I power fish everything, and it's a softer bait. And he explained why, and maybe he'll want to explain why it is the way it is, because it's a softer bait compared to some of his other plastics, but it works
because it's salted.
Yeah, because it's salted, and that's what he explained yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, the Swagger was actually the one bait I did not ever want to make. And everybody on TikTok, if anybody's on here that follows me, they know I said I'm never making a stick bait, because I have a rule. Every bait has to serve two purposes, right? It has to do two things for me. And innovating a stick is next to impossible, right? So I don't fish finesse anymore. So we had to figure out how do we make a stick bait that we can use as a Texas rig, because that's what I fish more than anything, a Texas rig.
Right.
How do we Texas rig this? How do we? I don't wacky rig. They're finally getting me to do it here on Santee, because you throw them on trees. But
dude, do it. That's the best way, man.
It's so boring, man. I can't.
It is, but it catches fish.
You got Danny excited.
Yeah,
I know. If Chris Platts is in here, I mean, Alex saw him. The guy caught almost 120 inches and 5 fish on Santee in like 3 trips, wacky rigging a Swagger, and he's like, "Do it," and I'm like, "All right, fine." But I mean,
once you try it, you won't go back. I'm telling you.
The bait itself, I mean, it's 5.2 inches, and most people do a 5 or whatever. And the only reason it's 5.2 is because, like y'all see, that second rib is right in the middle of that bait. That's your wacky slot right there. That put a ring on this one just to do it. But on, if you want a Texas rig, you can see the crosshairs for the people that can see this. Crosshairs there, that's going to be where the center mass is for your hook if you're Texas rigging, right? That's not your wacky hook placement, but 4/0 to 5/0, depending on the hook, right? Because they all change. That's going to put you center mass. But what we had to make sure it did is fulfill, the Ned rig requirement. So that second break, if you just pop it off, you got your TRD size, right? Your finesse bait here. And that's essentially what I wanted, right? Is to be able to throw this on a Ned, or if it gets ripped, and you can do the same with the other side. It looks like a little larva. You got your riblets on it. So that's the only reason I put a stick bait out, is because we figured out how to make it do more than one thing, right? And then the salting, I told Tony how we figured it out. Alex knows. I'm not going to talk about that on here, but the fall rate is exactly what we want. It is very comparable to 2 other brands on the market right now that are very popular. We'll just say that. And that took a lot of testing. And I'm an engineer by trade, so we had to decompose, other brands and figure it out, and a little bit of maths in this, but we got it.
And that's what was cool, getting to have that conversation about a bait that you used, and you don't get that with most companies. Like, honestly, because this, like I said, I bought the Swagger, it got bit, but I was like, man, this thing's really soft. But then talking to him, I understand why it's built the way it is. Because I was using the MRE plastics, and if you've ever used the two, there's two totally different style plastics there.
Yeah.
So
12 or 13 fish.
It surprised me. It surprised me a little bit. I was like, man, it's a great bait, but God, it's soft. But now I understand why, and that's having that ability to talk to the owner of the company.
Well, and that is very good. Now, Southwest Indiana Outdoors. I know I'm late this show, and it's probably been talked about, but hey, he also makes the best frogs. We did go over it a little bit. Yep. And then, of course, Georgia Yak Angler. Look, the power is on TikTok. The power is on tonight for now. Don't jinx us. Let's see. But what impressed me was looking at that bait right there, and that's the first one I've seen. I'll be honest, straight up honest. That's the first time I had one in my hand. You literally could see 3 or 4 different techniques with that bait that you could do within.
Mm-hmm.
And you could Nico it. You could Nico it. You could do the chicken rig like I like,
Shaky
hats off
head,
to Dave.
head.
You could do it on a shaky head.
Yep.
So, and for a lot of you guys like those jigs, that back end right there will fit on a jig just as well if you're looking for a presentation without crawfish. So don't sleep on that one as well. Let's see. Pull up Cranking and Yanking, our old grumpy buddy from Louisiana, right there. Can you make a stick worm with a harder durometer plastic in the middle and softer on the ends? Is that even possible for somebody to do?
Yeah, you can. And this is for there are some companies right now off the shelf like Angling AI. They sell just like tail molds, right? If I wanted to, I could get a tail mold made. And the reason you don't just we'll just explain how to make a tail one first, and then they'll make sense for the center. So traditionally, if you want to make a green pumpkin worm with a chartreuse tail, you're going to shoot it chartreuse and it'll be a chartreuse worm. You cut the tail off, you put it back in the mold, then you inject the green pumpkin.
Right.
Now, the problem is that can pop off if it's not fused correctly, right? If the plastic doesn't cure together. So they make a tail mold that has a little tiny slit that goes in there. So it's like infused all the way up in the bait, right? They also do that for the center, okay? Where I could buy a center mold and it could be, I can run that in a different blend of plastic because this blend is different than all my other ones, and I salt this one. This is the only salted bait that I have. The problem is with my worm is center mass on the bait where it falls properly. If you wacky it here where it would be hard, it falls that way. It has to be dead center, right? To get that wobble on the drop, right? Because that's what we look for is that shimmy. That's why Yamamoto makes the best stick bait on the market. And I'll say that because I grew up fishing them when they came out, right? So it's hard in this, but traditional stick baits, that is a solid piece mold, like a Yumdinger mold and stuff like that. Absolutely, you can do it. You just have to run the bait, cut the middle, and then, run the bottom, then run the middle, then inject the top, right? So it's 3 shots for 1. So most people don't do it unless they have the mold made for you. So
that makes sense.
It's a lot of work.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, they make sleeves now. They make those sleeves that people started selling with their worms, and they are made for that, right? It is a hardened. I can drop it in the Fish North Georgia group. I have it pinned. You can get them off Alibaba and Temu. That's where everybody orders them cheap. But it is a silicone sleeve that you slide over your bait. So if you don't like the rings, you can punch it through like normal, and it is hard. It's like a tube, right?
Yeah, right. Let's see. Somebody asked about, and I don't know if it was to me or to who about throwing the wacky, whether we weighted or I'm weightless everywhere we go. I don't like putting any kind of weight. Yeah, the classy kayaker, totally unweighted. I go weightless everywhere, and it drives people crazy too because I will wait 45 minutes for that thing to get down to a 40-foot deep brush pile. I have no problem with that because I have confidence in it. Let's see. Chandler Irwin wants to know, Mr. Andrew. He's really polite, like the way he starts his questions off. Like, Mr. Andrew, could you build a bait close to a Kitech? And if you could, this is my part of the question, would you even want to?
So yeah, I could make I could make that bait. If you're talking about the swing impact, there's a lot of different Kitechs. So if you're talking about
that one. Yeah.
That swing impact. Yeah. I have some rules in designing, right? I have a few friends in the bait making industry. We make sure we don't cross, right? Jake's Lure Joint is a good friend of mine. Also, he's active duty still. Jake and I collaborate on a lot of things. Some of his stuff I've drawn for him because he asked me to help him. Some of my designs I gave to him. He has a very good new paddle tail, right? I put mine out the same time he put his out, but we fished different. Mine was more of a tube shape, better on a jig, good for saltwater, right? Aggressive belly roll, right? And his was more of the traditional Kitech, can go on the back of an A-rig. Can still fish it on a jig, right? We can do it. I probably wouldn't, just because every single person out there has a replica of a fat swing. And for me, the tails don't kick hard enough in the blends that I would want to use. They do the little flutter thing, and I need a boot. I need it to roll. That's just me. So
Yeah, I got you.
check out Jake's lure joint though. He has a custom mold that he designed, right? And it is very similar to a Kitech style swim bait. And I don't mind dropping my friends in here. That's how the community grows, right?
Absolutely,
So-
absolutely. So Tony Walls 770 on TikTok. I like the idea of a soft plastic being able to pull a bubble trail down in the column, catches attention. And I think one of his earlier comments was he heard something about the swagger. I think we're talking about the swagger stick.
Yeah.
Creating a little bubble trail in certain situations. So I think that's what he's talking about over there. Someone had a question too. How are the tariffs going to affect you?
They don't. So none of my products are manufactured or regulated, right? I don't pour aluminum. I don't use lead. I don't do any of that stuff, right? So the only thing that will be impacted by a tariff is my packaging, my bags. I get my bags from the same manufacturer XL Lures does, from Kitech, right? We all get those bulk made overseas, the custom bags, right? But outside of that, nothing is impacted. Everything is locally sourced in the U.S. So
That's good. That's good to know. Fishbone says throw some Alka-Seltzer in that belly. That'll make a bubble.
Yeah.
For sure. Then someone up there, and guys, listen, if we miss your question, type it again because there's a lot going on up there, plus with TikTok over here. But someone did ask, have you thought about using Elastec type plastics?
honestly, the elastomer is extremely hard to do in small batch, right? And a lot of them are a cold press process. So the fumes, right? I've commandeered my entire garage as a shop until I build something else eventually, right? So although I like the elastomer style baits, I would only use it in certain scenarios. I've found a lot of the elastomer baits I get like one dud or two duds when I was fishing them, right? And the curing process and the manufacturing process is too difficult for me right now, and I don't want the fumes near my kids.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would only do it in maybe like one or two baits. Probably a version of a paddle tail, right, for salt applications. I wouldn't really do it in the craw stuff because elastomer sometimes is a little like more dense, right? The plastic. So I'd have to flange out and redesign molds for it. It's cool, but it would only maybe be for like one or two, maybe our Tactoad, a variation of the Tactoad. This is on the Weed Whacker. You guys, most of you know what that is. Maybe a variant on this to keep it up a little higher, but these are float blend. I have float additive that I can keep them up on the surface for 3 seconds before they drop. So
This is his?
Yeah,
I got a Weed Whacker in my hand. And no,
yeah,
there's
so the Tactoad was designed. Danny and I sat down one night and we drew this frog out. I had some requirements and he did too for the Weed Whacker. So the Tactoad is specifically made for the Weed Whacker. If you look at the head of the bait, a lot of people don't know that with the Weed Whacker, you're supposed to pull the head of your plastic over that lead weight.
Yeah.
That is the right way to fish this bait to keep it tracking right. So that's why the hook comes right out the rear of the toad. We measured that out to a T. That's why the head is a ball, so that weight will fit inside of it. I fish it on the Bushwhacker, right? This is on the Bushwhacker here. Same thing, but I don't use stinger hooks on my trailer baits, or on my buzz baits. So, it keeps it down low. The feet twirl because it holds the bait under subsurface a little bit, right? Because you got your water line up here. But, the toad was designed. I needed it to swim it underwater for snakehead and for bass, right? It's this 3.6-inch toad. And I started smashing fish on the Weed Whacker, and I was like, Danny, let's do this thing. So we sat down, and the toad I had that test mold, and I was slinging it at fish like 2 weeks later. So
I got you. That was a good looking bait. Again, this is the first time I've seen your baits. And I think you brought everything he makes. So almost. Lonnie Hill, what's going on, buddy, on TikTok? He's brought a lot of them.
What's up, Lonnie?
A farmer wants to know what goes into the thought process of making a new style bait. Does the idea come from the old bait with a new twist, or how do you go about that?
It's always based off of a need. The first thing you have to do in any scenario, right, is figure out your problem. What's your problem? Our problem is we need a worm to be able to come over grass easy, right? Still be able to have action on the drop on the edge of pads and be swam, right? That was our problem. And I'm walking through the process talking about the private, right? So the Zoom mag speed worm is what we used, right? Does great on grass. It doesn't have a lot of action on the drop, so I can't put it on a shaky head, which is a big requirement for me. Also, swimming it, the tail does freeze up a little bit. So we went with a little bit of a bigger flowing dragon style tail, right? And this thing just rolls real nice in the water. So you can slow roll it. You can burn it on top water and it slaps it. And ribs for scent control, and because fish like to hold on to them. And then for me, the requirement was having an egg sac placed perfectly for a shaky head. So those were our problems. The solution was, okay, let's draw the worm out, right? And then the first iteration, nope, we need the tail to be a little bit different than this. We need the ribs to be a little bigger than this. Okay, well, let's grab our favorite shaky head that we use, right? And I'm going to throw Brazils on there because I caught my personal best on it. This is the SRS, right? I said, okay, if this is what I'm using, let's match them up and see how they fit. So you match it up. It goes right through the egg sac and comes through. It doesn't rip out. Boom, that's problem number 2 solved. And you just walk down the bait until you get your final thing. Then you fish it, right? Because a lot of people say you don't need to catch fish on something to see if it's good. Yes and no. You need to fish the bait and swim it to see if it has the intended action you want it to have. But you have to catch fish on it to see if there's weak points, if the bait's going to rip a certain way, if it's going to pull off of a shaky head or a jig in a wrong way. And that's where you adjust your diameters, you mess with your blending, and you go from there. So it's a pretty fun. I mean, this is where I nerd out. This is my favorite part. You really get into the weeds on it. And then you got Alex and Alan and Thad and all these. Okay, well, on my fishery, this would work really good. And this is what we see. Okay, and this will simulate this style fish, right? This is the size profiling I use. These are the size hooks on the jigs I use. Okay, let's look at the consensus of the most popular jigs on the market. Tackle Warehouse. Oh, they use a size 4/0 hook. They use a size 3/0 hook. Okay, so we know that most people can relate this bait to their favorite jig, so they're more likely to buy it. So it's a really, when you get in the weeds on it, it's a really long process. It's a really fun process, but that's kind of the whole thing. You find your problem, you think of the bait that isn't really made. It's kind of hard to make new creatures, right? Like there's lizards out there, there's bugs, there's craws, there's worms. But you got to take your own spin on it, and then search up and down Tackle Warehouse to make sure something doesn't look exactly like it, and then you roll with it. So it's fun.
That's about as in depth as you can get right there, without like really going through a PhD level thing.
I was gonna say, I think you probably go a little bit deeper into it. He's kind of dumbing it down for us.
For us. But I mean, it's like that's as good. This is how we do it. This is why we do it. Here's how we test and all this. Going on that, Jerry Catula says, do you have a set of criteria when you're testing your baits? For example, certain number of bites in a given time frame, etc., things like that. So when you're testing a brand new bait,
that's a good question.
What are you looking for?
So I don't go off bites respectively, right? Because depending on the time of year we're testing and the fishery, right, it's really hard to get that sample, right? What I do look for though is if, say, I do catch a fish, how big is this? Little fish destroy stuff. We know this. Little bass will rip a bait before a big one because they don't have that vortex to pull it in, right? They're nibbling and they're being aggressive, and generally it's hanging out their mouth. It's not throated. They didn't choke it. So generally for me, the first thing we make sure is in the water, no matter what condition and rig we're throwing it on, does it have the action that we need it to, right? So then that, from a design standpoint, we always do a test mold or two, right? A single or a 2 cavity mold to test that, just that. The action, is it how we thought of, right? If the action's good, that means our blend is probably correct. Then we catch fish. I send them out to these guys. We all catch a fish or two. If it rips a certain way when caught, if it's not holding the hook right in the bait, those are some things that will prompt change before anything else. For how I fish very fast. I'm a very, very fast fisherman. So I am I am looking for, does it get absolutely destroyed on a short strike, right? Like if something eats the private or speed worm when I'm burning it on pads and instantly rips it on the tail, that means this back section's too thin and we got to draw it thicker, right? That's what I look for. Now, with the stick bait, it's different. You have to test the fall rate, right? But it's really hard to sample. I guess we could, but that would be more of like a, let's try impregnating our own scent into the bait and see if it gets bit or not. That's a really good question. I haven't really gauged it off of how many fish per time frame, because normally when I'm out there, it's like 4 or 5 hours while the kids are, in school or daycare, and I am, I'm going to come out here and I'm going to fish these pads. I need to test it on a shaky head and I need to test it here. Yeah. If it has the qualities that I see after a few fish catches, right? Just general catching. Okay, the bait lasted about four fish, didn't get demolished, right? Over like 2 or 3 trips, maybe. That's when we know we're good. But the design of the mold itself, it's in the action in the swimming, right? And then if it rips off the hook easy, that's the hardest part, because getting another mold made could cost you another $1,500.
What are you laughing at?
Tim's trying to spell fascinated.
Oh, Tim. Tim's in there trying to spell fascinated.
Like 8 times.
What he did, he busted me because he come back to me and I'm sitting there looking at this pink worm going.
He's looking at the tickler.
Like, seriously.
Oh, man, that one.
No, look, I'm sitting, honest. He handed me this and I'm like, Late Lanier, I could wax their ass on this thing. Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's exactly what I thought.
That worm right there is a perfect example of when I made that 2 years ago, it failed. Right. And this is going to be another MRE scenario. So I wanted a speed worm, 5.7-inch speed worm. I was not as educated on my micro measurements, right, with a micrometer for thickness of a bait, right, into hundredths and stuff like that. So in my head, this is what I wanted, right? It has really wicked action. I wanted to put it on a shaky head or a Texas rig, right? It has really good action in the water. I made it too thin. The problem is this mold was about $2,000 collectively. So there lies our problem. I did not get a test mold made, and now I do for everything. But back then I didn't. I thought it was good. I got the mold right. This one, I got it. It was too thin. So some of the applications you're going to fish a traditional speed worm, it wasn't holding up. So that's where we said, you know what? Let's go back to the drawing board. But recently, we have found a new use for this on smaller shaky heads and finesse presentations. It does very, very well when they don't want this big mag worm, because the tail still twirls on the drop, right? So I have friends that pop the tail off. That's how this one was too. You pop the tail off. You can pop the tail off on this one. That's why it's tapered. It makes a mag shaky worm. They're popping the tail off and drop shotting them. I don't do that. I don't even want to advertise it as that. But for a smaller finesse style speed worm, we found that it would work again. So we're going to bring it back out and sample it with those techniques, right? We're not going to say, oh, this is the speed worm for pads. This is what you put on a 2 or 3/0 hook. If you're going to Texas rig with an 1/8 ounce, right? This is where you're going to put on a smaller shaky head. This is what you're going to throw. You can swim it if you want.
He's got me interested.
Just say drop shot.
He's got me interested in that drop shot.
That's what I'm saying. Because I'm not gonna lie. When I held it up, I'm like, chicken rig and drop shot.
Yeah.
Those are 2 things.
Look at Alex. He's fascinated too. I can't spell it.
He's got some OG ones. He has them from when I first started making them. And Morning Dawn I've been fishing that color for.
Oh yeah.
It's such a good color in clear water, and the reservoirs in Maryland. That's it right there. You throw that on something, you're getting bit.
Georgia Yak Angler on TikTok, basically he loves this. He's popping up a bunch of comments once we started holding that up right there. I like that worm.
Yeah.
I like how flexible it was and everything, action. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, take it over to Latham. There's a lot I could do with that worm. I could do great
about it much because he took it off the website.
Yeah.
But that thing works.
Yeah, no, I could see that.
It works real good around here.
I could see that. If I missed your question again, put it back. On fishing with plats, which of your baits do you catch the most pickerel on?
Dude.
Yeah. Huh? Come on. What's the best bait? Throw some juice out here for pickerel.
The buzz bait, man. Chris. So I hate pickerel, first of all.
As you should.
For me, it is something to catch, but I have lost. I don't know if you guys are familiar with battle baits, but Flint is another really good friend of mine. And when
Yeah,
he
can I stop you right there? Because
Yeah.
right after tactical fishing, the next one out of Alex's mouth is battle baits. So we're very familiar with the brand.
So pickerel, when he launched the Brigade Blade, it was a hot item, and I had the privilege of being able to test it and fish them early for him because I make my own content as well, and I'm very unbiased with it. So I lost probably the first 4 Brigade Blades to pickerel. Now I've stuck them in the face with a weed whacker more times than you can imagine, and they don't break it off. But they absolutely murder my plastics. And
yeah,
although it's fun to catch, right? Like you catch like 5 or 6 of them, and you're like, oh, I'm still catching. But for me, when I've caught 7 and 8 pound bass out of that fishery, I'm like, that wake I saw on that thing was not. When I get a topwater eat that big, I expect it to be a bucket mouth, not a little pickerel. Chris knows I get so fired up over them. I've lost so many lures because of pickerel.
Yeah. I can believe it. No, I can believe it. They do some damage. Small water charters, Okeechobee, Florida, watching tonight.
There you go.
There you go. So
There you go.
appreciate you watching. Pull up Ryan, Mr. Sheffield's right below that. What is he asking? How well does the toad do with a screw lock, specifically a VMC drop dead weight hook and 4/0? How well does it line up nose to hook point? And I'm going to tell you why. This man loves throwing the horny toad, and that's exactly why you're getting that question.
So he's a man after my. So for snakehead, one of the most effective ways to fish a frog is to swim it. Now this is a VMC drop dead 5/0 on our paddle tail. I drew it for that hook, so I love drop deads. The 5/0's a little too big. I don't have 4s on me, but the toad itself was drawn for a fusion 4/0. So if you can compare the two, because I put a belly weighted swim bait hook on them and I fish it subsurface, and the reason the body is canted the way it is, taper, is because that hook is going to rest there and you don't have to stab, right? It keeps it somewhat weedless pulling through grass. And you got your taper tails. And if you skip baits, the reason we curve that belly there is so you can skip it. But yeah, the drop dead, let's put it on the 5/0 and see. I don't know what the difference would be.
Well, while you're doing that, and just listen, while you're doing that, you're describing, why you designed that. And I just looked over at Tony. He was like, I'm just shaking my head because it's just your frog bait, and he's thinking of all these different little things.
Curving the belly.
Puts a lot of thought into this.
So screw lock, on a 4, it'd probably need, it's going to be 2. So screw lock, the nose is blunt because I screw lock my frogs as well. So it takes a screw lock very well to answer the first part. But this is a 5/0 drop dead, and it's a 3.6 inch frog, so it's too short. Now Danny wants a 4.25 inch version of this. That's going to come soon too, so that will fit a lot better. But your standard Berkeley Fusion 4/0, we run spear points. The spear point 5/0 is the perfect hook for this, by the way. I get you though. I fish them the same way. We fish them through hydrilla. I fish them through pad stalks. You burn them on top water. You can drop them down and swim them. That was part of the requirements of my side to the tack toad was I have to be able to swim it on a belly weighted swim bait hook. So not the drop dead, but it was drawn for the 4/0 Fusion from Berkeley. If that helps.
No, but even picking a hook, and we're going to design a bait for a certain, hook style and everything. That's crazy. Steve Billington says it's fun to watch Andrew's mind work from behind the scenes. And I can imagine. So, but then did you see Thad Moody? Oh, Thad, did you see that comment right there?
Oh, yeah.
He's talking trash to you right there. Pull that up.
I'm going to give
Pull
Thad
up
a break
Thad right
because
there.
he's in pain right now. He got some
Criteria
stuff going on.
is if Alex can catch a fish on it, anyone can ship it.
Thad coming with the heat.
Thad coming with the heat tonight, Alex.
Alex, are you still beating him in the monthly tournament?
You're ahead of that?
Losing this month. So
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna let him have it.
Now do you fish that monthly tournament too, Andrew?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so I just got me a kayak. I'm about to jump in there with you. Can I jump in there with you guys? Or is it
Hey,
like
we'll let them. So what I do for the snakehead and the bass guys on our team, I don't consider it a pro staff or promotional staff, right? I only bring people into the brand that I
It's a
know.
gang. It's a gang.
That,
it's a gang? It's a gang.
It's a gang.
hey,
It's a bro staff.
Bro staff.
Bro staff.
It's
There
a
you go.
bro
That's better. There
staff.
you
so we only bring people in because it's not, 90% of the conversation in our chats, like Steve Billington started a business since he joined with us. So it's more of like, hey, let's all work on content together. Here's some tips for it.
Yeah.
Let's work on,
Oh, yeah.
if you want to start a business, let me help you. Here's some bait stuff. Here's some technique stuff, right? But I do internal 5-fish bag kayak tournaments for them. Winner gets tournament pay incentive or money and product, and it's free to them. It's just something I can do for them because I can't staff people, right? I'm barely making money off of it. So we do it for the snakehead and we do it for the bass. And Alex is in first this month. I have 2 very, very small fish from my one trip I got to go out. But Alex, I'm gonna try to get you on Sunday. Dad has been winning them. Chris won some. I won the last 2. So Thad got an asterisk because I don't count for anything. I just get to say I beat you.
Right.
So,
I'm a ringer, dude. I'm a ringer. You don't want me in that group.
Thad got
hey,
an asterisk.
come on out.
No, I'm sick. But Silver Punk, that's a good question right here. What are some new ideas you've been kicking around? What about your own spin on the bellows gill? How would you make that have 2 purposes if you created it?
So I have an answer, but then it will get made. So first of all, the bellows gill is one of my favorite baits that I had before this. So I don't like to, it's like a lizard, a Zoom lizard, right? I'm trying in my head for the past 2 years to figure out how to make a lizard unique. Because I Carolina rig them, I fish them exclusively. I love them. A bellows gill, I would not do the same style of a flat, I call it a pancake shad, right? Kind of, and if you see what bait I have here, it's going to give away what I'm working on right now. But it's going to be different. Got this little guy here.
I like that. Nice and quick.
Quick, yeah.
Nice and quick.
I'd probably, I've looked at it. I'd probably joint it in some capacity because of how forage drops when it's struggling in the water. That's all I'll say. A jointed version, like kind of like how the Big Easy, the Gambler Big Easy, this is what we're hunting with this guy. Greg Matakaitis on our team, he's in Florida, fishes Florida a lot. So we didn't want to joint our big version of the POG. The pissed off guppy is the acronym for our little paddle tail. But I needed belly roll. This thing has crazy belly roll, burns on top, has big boot. So you Florida guys that burn big swim baits on grass, this is what this is going after. Bellows gill, I will drop a little. So our shaky head worm will have some features a bellows gill does. If you guys can just explore your imagination for a little bit. The 7-inch shaky head worm I'm drawing right now has a lot of features of a bellows gill, with my twist on it.
I got you. Okay, absolutely. And make sure you guys jump in when y'all just sitting there absorbing
No,
information.
I mean it's the comments have been going pretty good.
Oh, the comments are good.
Hard to...
Let's see. David Weaver, I think Steve Billington answered your question. He designs it himself and has it made for him when it comes to the molds. And I want to make sure before we get any further, because we're an hour in, that we can keep talking about his baits, but I want to give him some time on the social media side.
You said we have questions. That's one of the things I was going to get in, but I wanted to let us get through that.
Well, let's go ahead, because I want to make sure. I want to make sure that we give him ample time to talk about social media content, staffing kind of thing like that, and then we can circle back to the baits.
Right.
Okay, so you want to lead in with one of them questions because I know you got them.
Yeah, I mean, so I was in a live the other day, and I'm just going to go right into it. This is one of those hot topics. I was in a live. It was Brazzalo's live. You and I were in there. There was a couple other bait makers in there, and a young person got in there and was like, "Hey, can you sponsor me?
Give me free stuff.
Can you sponsor me for my high school fishing?"
No, she did. Okay, I got you. Okay.
and of course, there were some comments being made between the different bait makers and stuff like that, because that happens more times than not. And you kind of touched on it a minute ago, not being able to afford staff. I mean, kind of from your standpoint, what are your requirements for somebody for you to go, you know what, that person is pro staff worthy, or we'll call it promotional staff worthy, whatever you want to call it, to kind of give folks that may be watching, they're interested in that part of it, kind of I don't know how you want to say it, because I don't want to hurt these kids' feelings, but quit asking for free stuff on the damn lives and stuff. I mean, what are you looking for? I guess I'll just leave it at that.
So what I look for, I'm going to break this up into a few different things, right? So first and foremost, I'm a huge believer in follower counts don't matter to me, right? When it comes to generating content for a brand, right? And there's two different ways you can break that down, right? Sure, someone that has 100,000 followers, if you send them something and they post it, you're going to get more reach right out the gate, okay? But I trust my posting and how I use the content more so than me just sending a product, or even, no offense to people that purchase them, but when people generate content, it's hard to select which ones fit where we're trying to go with the content train, right? So the first thing I look for is the content put together right. If you're tagging a brand and you want the brand to recognize you, the first thing you need to understand is the content has to be immediately usable by the brand. Okay? Because for myself, for example, right? I do this, I schedule my content every night, right? So if I'm getting tagged in 100 posts, which ones do you think I'm going to grab to use? The ones that I have to do zero editing or barely any editing to, okay? And there are a lot of creators out there that have just started out. And I don't know if he's watching, but Real Michael, Alex knows who he is.
Yep.
He has been, his content is so beautiful, right? Like,
amazing.
It is content that a brand can just take and post. Now, when it comes to bringing people onto the actual promotional staff, right? We have an ambassador program if people want the commission, right? I don't really, if they want it, they can have it, right? When I bring people in, it's not to generate revenue for me. It's to help me polish off the brand, right? Like, is this a piece of the puzzle that I don't have, right? Is this guy, a smallmouth angler? I don't have a true smallmouth angler on my team. Like, true, that's what they do. If I get to know them, or if I know them and I trust them, because all these guys in the promotional staff are in the chats where I'm showing the CAD, I'm showing everything, right? And that's what people have to understand with me. If you are on the team, you see everything I do, everything. The CAD, the drawings with measurements, I won't bring you in unless 100% I know you're not going to turn around and give it to somebody else. Should I get them to sign NDAs? Probably. I write NDAs for the government. I know how to do it, right? But, it's one of those things that I want people to trust in the process, and I want to be able to trust them too. So when they come in, the main thing is I have to know them for a little bit, right? 90% of the people on our team I've known for a while, okay? Or I've watched their content for a while, and I know they're true to what they're doing. They're not brand hoppers, right? And we talked about those I posted on my social media today about, brand hopping and things of that nature. They're gonna, when they find a product that they believe in, they're gonna use it, and they're gonna give me the right feedback, right? Whether they're making money or not. And I do pay when I can, right? Like Alan does my content. He does my professional sessions. He would just come out of the camera and I started just sending him PayPal. I'm like, I'm going to pay you because it's good. Not because you're my friend, because this content is good and I want to pay you for it because I'm using it for my business. Now, with smaller businesses, even larger ones, a lot of these staffed people aren't paid, right? You do get a discount, and people are like, oh, a 30% discount isn't good. That's almost putting it to cost in a sense, right? So I am giving you some sort of payment, right? You get product cheaper. Most people I bring in, depending on their level, I'll throw them a gift card, right? So they can stock up on stuff that maybe they haven't tried, right? I stopped giving free baits away. If I reach out to you, which I do to a lot of people, say, hey, love your content. Here's a $30 gift card. Go to the site, pick some stuff out. Let me know if you like anything. I do that all the time because a $30 gift card, they're going to pick the colors they want. They're not going to just get some color they don't want to use. Right. But that's on both sides. This is a business and a creator. As a creator, if I reach out to a brand wanting to use their product, I would never approach them saying, I use your product, I want to be on your team, now you need to pay me. Never, right? If a brand reaches out to me and says, we want you really badly, this is your posting schedule, this is your this, if it's that much time involved, if I'm not getting compensated with product to do it, you will obviously want payment depending on your level. But for the people out there that say a 30% or a 40% discount isn't being paid, it absolutely is, because on my level, that's taking all of my profit, right? I'm essentially giving you the base, right? You know, it without it covers costs.
Right.
So that's something to consider with, you know, if brands are offering 40, 50, 30%, right? And with plastics specifically, there's not a lot of overhead on them. I keep my prices, nothing is above $6 on my site that's a plastic. I keep it as low as I can to stay competitive. If I go any lower than that, I'm basically, you know, I'm going to eat it. And you can't do that as a business. You're going to die out. So, you know, pro staff, promotional staff, look for people I can trust that believe in the brand. Ambassadors and content creators we collaborate with, look for well done professional content. No lie, that I can show my kids and they won't be offended or be, you know, my wife will get mad at me for doing it. So professional, clean content we can use. That's my basis. I've always been that way.
Okay. Is there before I get to that question real quick, is there an automatic no? Like from the first meeting, is there something that somebody like that can do that's just like, you're not going to give them the time of day? You might finish the conversation, but in your mind, you're like, no.
Yeah.
Like an instant turn off. What is that?
So, and I don't, these are my rules in the Army. If you're mixing your fishing content with offensive content right off the gate, no, right? Because when you partner with a brand, you represent that brand. Whether you're being paid or not, right? If someone's wearing this shirt, that's tactical fishing. And if you're in a video talking about politics or religion and it stems, I don't want any of that fall out. Everybody has their own beliefs, right? So I stay off that path, right? Everybody swears, but when it becomes a point that I can't show everybody, right? Because we want everybody to get into fishing, not just me and you and the professional anglers. I want kids to be able to buy the products like the Guggen methodology, right? You get the younger generation into fishing and it's cool. I want them to be able to watch my stuff, my content, my personal content in a room with their parents and their parents not turn it off, right? So if I see you doing that, no. You know, there are some other avenues that I don't believe in. You know, but they all fall in that little boundary, right? And people that, my biggest grudge as a business owner, because I make the content, is people that think they deserve your stuff, right? Because of a following. I hate that. Just because you have followers doesn't mean you deserve for me to send this to you. Like, that is the most offensive thing someone can say is, I have 100,000 followers, you have to send it to me, or I get this free, right? It doesn't matter how many followers you have, man. What'd you do to earn it? Like that mindset right there, that kills it for me. I'm like, do you know my personal channels? I have a pretty good following too, and I've never approached a brand. I have turned down discounts, said, nope, I want to pay for it. It's better content. I've spent my money on this. I'm more likely to give you a good review. They throw me a 15% discount. Cool. Thanks, man. I still spent money on it and I'm going to give you an honest review on it. So
there's a lot of those guys out
there. That will fire me up. Like Tony, Alex has seen my lives where I go off on it. I
want you to be honest about it. No, I mean, I get it, because I think a lot of people just think that, and especially, and it's not, I don't want to pick on younger kids, because you know, I always take up for the younger kids and all things, but a lot of them are totally naive, and they will come and they will ask, you know, sponsor this, sponsor that, but they want it for free. Yeah. You know, and it's because they think their name carries something, right? And it may locally, you know, it may in whatever, but it is a situation that I don't think a lot of people see. I get to see it on the backside from a lot of things, but I can see where you get fired up about that.
You know, there are a lot of circumstances, and Alex knows, I did giveaways every live because my goal is for people to try the products, right? From the tactical fishing standpoint. I will pay the shipping and do giveaways. If you hang out in the lives and you engage, you have a chance to win free stuff. I do giveaways all the time. I do sales all the time. I do that because I want people to fish the products. I do get people that reach out and say, hey, will you sponsor me? I think what the fishing industry has gotten really, foggy with is what is a sponsorship, right? And that's something we can break down so deep is what is a sponsorship? I like to use the term partnership, right? Because it is a partnership. If I give you something, whether it be even 1% off, right? What is expected in return? Probably not as much as free or 50 or 40 or 30, right? So, the brand shares your content, right? And if the brand has a lot of followers, that probably benefits the creator just as much as the reverse side of this. So, sponsoring, full sponsorship is, what I think of. You don't pay for anything. They pay you money for entries. They wrap your boats. You are sponsored. You're exclusive, right? You're exclusive to that. Even guys on my team, I tell them, I don't care if please try to fish the stuff that I produce, but if I don't make something, by all means, throw the other bait, right? I've never been, even with the frogs, with everything, I'm like, if I don't have it, go do it. But if I do have it, tell me how we can fix it to make it fishable for you. That's all my requirements are. The lives just get overwhelming with people, and shoot your shot, man. Like, what's the worst someone's going to say no, right? We always say that if we're talking to, I'll walk up to the chick at the bar, hit on her. What's the worst you're going to do? Turn you down? It's the same thing with the plastics. They shoot their shot, but it happens so much. And I put out so much content saying, don't do this. You have people that follow you doing it. And it's like, you were in there in the live when you even commented, hey, no, man, support small business, put a little money in his pocket, right? If someone approaches me and says, hey, man, stuff's going on. Like, I have people that say I lost my gear, whatever. I'm like, you know what? Here's a $20 gift card, man. They don't ask for anything for free. They just say, hey, I only have this much. If you could build a cart for $25, what would you get? Right? I saw your post and I really like your stuff. I'm like, you know what? Here's $25. Go get it. Go get it. This is what I would recommend. If you approach me that way, you're more likely to get some product to try out. If you see me in person, you are getting product to try out. The only reason I'm the candy man. I hand out baits and frogs to everybody I see. Kids, I unloaded my whole satchel of plastics to 2 kids I saw fishing, right? But when it comes to shipping and all that stuff, man, if I do it for one person, that's $7 to ship it. Then he told his buddy, there's 5 more people coming up to me, that's another $35 in shipping. In person, here, take a bag, right? Have fun with them, fish them. Here's a website on the bag, check it out. Here's new 20 is for new customers, 20% off, right? It's just, I think people have no shame in actually being professional about approaching brands. It's not taught. It's not a taught thing anymore. And we went back to what people think they deserve, right? If you see a guy that has 10 million likes on TikTok and 10K followers, but it's from a cat video 6 months ago of his cat licking its butt in the corner, and Cat Talk saw it, so they blew it up, and he has 1 fish catch, right?
Yeah.
Like, why am I going to send that to you, dude? Like, you blew up because of a cat.
That's
you don't
right.
make fishing content,
That's right.
It's,
I get it. 100%. That happens a lot like that.
Oh,
The cat. Colin Burnett with Deck. What did he say? It was from a podcast. I caught it.
I missed it.
Deck Talk podcast. What's up, Colin? Appreciate you joining us. If you want the full experience, go to YouTube over here at FNGO and you can see all the camera angles. Where was that one? The comments were blowing up, and
Phil had
he's
one way back
laughing at
up here
Steve.
somewhere.
Yeah, he's setting this one up.
He's setting this one up. Steve is.
Yeah.
Steve Billington.
It's a good question.
Let me. Yeah, you want to answer?
Right
You
there.
do that,
Yeah,
Alex.
so-
Put it on Alex.
Andrew, how do you feel about people who run socials for a brand, but they make that brand look really bad and ignore the ones who actually support it?
I got a feeling that's a loaded question.
no,
Am I right?
He knows exactly. So in a lot of different industries, there are cliques, right? Like every industry you can think of, there's a clique. Specifically in the kayak industry right now, we're seeing a lot of shift in brand representation and social media management, right? Not the brand, but the people who are managing those socials. And, let's use my brand as an example. This is a perfect. We're not going to name call. We're going to use a perfect example in me. So, say I hired somebody to do my social media. Let's use Alex. Let's pick on Alex here. Alex, I want to pay you to run my social media, right? So, because I'm overloaded, instead of Alex spreading the love around the team and sharing those, he only shares his own content and tags himself and maybe one or two of his buddies that may or may not even be on the team, right? And that's all he's doing is tagging himself. But meanwhile, before he took over, everybody was getting some love. Posts were getting shared. Their content was being shared. They were being tagged. But as soon as Alex takes over, only him, right? And it's not. And then Alex, let's use Battle Baits, right? Flint won't mind if I use them. Alex starts doing Flint's social media too because he's he's flaunting numbers of, oh, I helped Tactical do this. Look at this reach, whatever. Look at my followers; they're growing too, right? Send me some free stuff. I shouldn't have to pay anything. I do this full time, right? I'm Alex. I do this, right? So then he takes over Battle Baits and he does it with them too. It's a trend we're seeing, right? And it's just one of those deals that I'm like, man, when people find out and they see it, you're going to not really have anywhere to go because a lot of people are starting to see it now in our industry, at least. And it's a very small community. I mean, fishing is in general, you know how bass fishing is. One person hears it, the whole community hears it. And if Slick Johnson gets a hold of it, everybody hears it, if you like fishing or not. It's we're seeing this change right now. We've seen a lot of it recently. And, another thing that really irritates me is when you see creators growing and they're following and unfollowing people, right? They'll follow you until you follow them back, and they'll wait like a week and they'll unfollow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
really habitual habit on TikTok. But what concerns me is when you have social media managers doing it, and when you have people that are using reach and engagement, as a resume, doing it.
And they use it as a badge of honor.
Yeah.
So use it as a badge of honor, saying I've got this many followers. And, a week before they were following you, and then they unfollow you.
Yeah.
And that's my petty thing on TikTok. If you follow me and I follow you back, I check a week later.
Yeah.
I go back.
Do you really?
Oh, I absolutely do.
So look, in a content sense, it is a strategy. It is a strategy. But the problem is when you're doing it to people so close in your community, even that could be part of your brand.
Yep.
That's where it goes. And TikTok, it's a huge habit, right? I've caught one or two on it. And
Instagram's hard to track. It's hard to track Instagram if they do it to you.
Once you get a certain, so I will say, once you hit 10K, you have a whole new level of dashboard. Okay. If you notice my followers, every 3 months I go through and I clear bots, right? There's a feature on professional mode. You can just clear them. So I'll drop like 1,000 or 800, right? Because snakehead videos draw in a lot of bots from overseas, right? Those videos that blow up and get a few million, they generate bots. So you have a lot more tools later on. But
I'm so petty. I went on Instagram. You can download your follower list. I was so petty. I downloaded it, categorized it by alphabet, went through my follower list to see who had unfollowed me after I followed them back. That's how petty I am. I will clean you out.
It was like Housewives of Atlanta or something like that.
Listen, we work our tails off.
No, I'm just kidding. I get it.
I had a brand reach out to me. I won't name who it is on TikTok. He said, "Hey, I want you to be on our promotional staff. Give you a discount. Buy the baits." Well, I looked it over and I said, I responded back professionally. I said, "I'm sorry, but your baits, they're great, but I wouldn't be able to use them in my capacity here." And at that point, I'd be lying. It just wouldn't work.
Right.
Unfollowed.
Yeah.
That quick.
That's what they do.
Unfollowed that quick.
I have a block list longer than my friends list on TikTok. That's why I stopped going live from Tactical Fishing, man. Like, I'll be completely honest. I used to do lives once or twice a week. It was a great time. I miss the community. I miss the guy, Sean, Georgia Yak Angler. That's how I met Sean. That's how I met Alex. That's how I met Danny. That's how I met all these people in the community. It was TikTok. And you find people creeping and copying down to the website, everything. And it just became, I'm showing them too much. Right? Like, should I go live right here with the lights and stuff and talk? Yeah, sure. But no, everybody wants to watch the bait making.
Oh, yeah.
But then you got the bigger, names that their videos flop, right? Because TikTok algorithm is really difficult to nail, right? On a consistent level to nail. So they do the follow for follow technique, right? But the problem is sometimes they lose track because they go down the list and just hit 10 and then do it again. And I caught one or two of them doing it, and they're bigger names that I considered a friend. And I just blocked them and called them out. So it's, social media, it's a competition, man. Everybody wants the number, right? And I stopped caring about the number on Facebook a year ago because I got PETA banning monetization on me, and I've grown more by not caring, right? So find your community, find the people that care about making the content. Like Tony knows, this nice camera you got coming in. When yeah,
it is. Yeah, it is. Let's talk about that behind the scenes. Yeah, it is.
So like when you meet these people that you see, they don't mind sharing, you start 100%. To share. And that's how you build this, build a core group of people, right? Not a clique where we want to keep it to ourselves and not help everybody, but I'm more likely to give my tips out, right? Like the camera. That's a perfect example. I'm not saying it on here, but Tony said he liked it. I messaged him. I'm like, hey, man, show you how to get one. And boom, he got one. Myself and Alan have one. Alex knows where to get them. He's going to be held for ransom after this. But I think in social media, it's really hard because a lot of people automatically assume the higher follower counts you get, you're going to get free stuff. And a lot of people want that, right? And you can leverage it that way. You can. I don't believe in it. Alex knows generally when I apply to a program, I get approved because of my followership. But I generate the content for it, like because I like the product and I use it, right? And that's the difference. A lot of people want to brand hop, right? I get it. If you want a stepping stone, what did I tell you, Alex? If you want to use me as a stepping stone for somebody else, by all means do it, man. Like if this helps you get to the top brand and you like their stuff too, do it. It doesn't offend me, right? I know that's part of the game. You want to get up there. It will help you grow, right? It'll help maybe make this a full-time thing for you. But people take it as serious as they want it now. So they're willing to cut all the corners, right? And they're going to burn every bridge. And they'll find out at the end of that bridge, there's going to be nothing for them because all the people they burned are managing the stuff they're trying to be a part of.
And they all talk. I mean, we know from iCast how intertwined that network of, even once you get to that level, you start burning bridges. Those guys are on the other side.
Oh, trust me, I know that. Now, Lily the Hammer on TikTok. Lily. Yeah, this is Andrew. Now, if you want to go over to FNGO on YouTube, you can see his pretty face over there if you want to do that. They can't see your face on TikTok.
Lily is a longtime follower of mine too. She's awesome. She knows. Alex, Lily is one of the regulars in the lives, and she knows. I'll go if I'm on my personal account fishing going live. I'll tell you straight. If I'm on TFC's, you'll hear it a little bit. Try to keep professional, but I tell it how it is, man. I'm transparent about it. That's the biggest thing. I don't mind if you don't like what I'm saying because it hurts your feelings. I'm sorry. Like,
I like it. And listen, I like it. I mean, I personally, but I'm sitting back here and I'm listening to this because I know I watch these guys when they come in and before show, and I hear them talk about the companies and what's going on. And I sit back and I'm a sponge, and I'm just listening to this, and I can tell a lot of these situations and all when they're coming up and the problems. And, I'm a little bit familiar with some of the stuff that you've got going on, from listening to these guys. And I just find it all interesting, but I would much rather you be straight up transparent and just say it like it is, or tell everybody out there that, what you're looking for and what guys can and can't do, because a lot of people just don't get that game. You know what I'm saying? They just don't get the game. They think I want a free pack of baits, and they'll get it and they'll run. They'll go to that brand hopping is awful, but it happens so much.
I mean, starting social media was not really my intent to do it, but it kind of started and happened. And of course I started doing the show here and stuff, but I never realized how much work was involved in creating content.
It's a lot, ain't it?
I mean, oh my gosh, it's a full-time job by itself. And I watch everything Andrew puts out because I'm going, how does he keep up with it? Because I know I'm over here dying. I mean, I'm like treading water, barely
Well.
can breathe with it, you know, trying to keep up with stuff and watching stuff like that. And, you know, it really, and when I labeled that question a minute ago about the live, it almost infuriates me. And I'm not even a bait maker. I'm watching it go on. I'm going, guys, you know, and like he said a minute ago, they don't teach it. So it's kind of hard, you know, it's hard to get it out there. It's almost like we need a mini series on how to approach brands and how to do stuff like that. Because I mean, I see it all the time with people wanting free stuff, wanting this. And then you got the big companies, you got to have this many followers and things like that. And, you know, you got people with smaller follower counts that have comparable analytics, but they don't have the follower counts and whatnot. But, you know, for me, it was seeing it happen in a live and going, these guys. And I think one of the comments was, it's always from somebody that has no social media, like fishing social media. They just want free stuff.
Oh,
yeah,
always. Yeah. So. I joke and say, like today, I was like, oh yeah, I get messages all the time. Like I get, you know, 5 to 10 emails a day because they email, right? And some of them are like, they send me appropriate proof. Like, hey, can you send baits to this charity event? Here you go, here you go, here you go. And they send me like everything I need. If I have the capacity to do it, I do it, right? Because I don't mind doing it, especially if it's a veteran charity. That's just because I'm a veteran, right? But then you get the guys that say, I plan on starting a YouTube channel next year. I would love to do a video on this.
Really? You get those?
Oh, yes. All the time. It is, you know, and like I said, I should probably just do like, have you seen the guy that makes songs off of really bad Tinder conversations?
Yes.
I did the video
yes. He wears like the turtleneck and stuff or whatever.
Yeah. I need to do that, but with the messages asking for freebies, because you wouldn't believe some of the stuff you get asked. Like,
that
might be a good side channel.
The one you did today, wasn't that him? That was his song.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
Oh, I watched that. Yeah. Okay, that was it.
I have one daughter or whatever.
I have one daughter. Listen, I watched
son,
that.
Whatever it is.
Listen, it popped up. I'm like, what in the hell am I listening to like that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's that guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
So that's him. It's a, you know, and part of social media, like Tony was saying, there's a lot of trends. There's a lot. I'm goofy. Like I have no shame. I have made content. I don't care. Right. Like, because I think it's fun. If I'm doing it, you don't always have to be uptight. Like that's me.
Right.
But it is, you know, between doing the brand and mine, it's a lot. And that is exactly why I said, when you're making content and you want a brand to use it, make it usable right out the gate. Because if I see somebody send something in that's already well done, right, I might put it in photo room and color render a little bit, right? Just because I'm OCD about that stuff. But it's ready to post, right? And that's what brands are looking for. They want to be able to share something and it be ready to post. But with TikTok and whatever, you know, Facebook's a month behind. TikTok in trends, YouTube is a month behind Facebook in trends, and just take that note down because that's real. So if you see a trend on TikTok that you do, you know, right, put it in your pocket for Facebook and all that, get it out there, because you'll see a month later the video goes viral and you're like, oh, it's because I beat that trend out. You know, it's a lot. You got to watch the trends. You got to watch the sounds, like YouTube Shorts. I told Thad, hey, the sound may not match. Use recommended sounds for your shorts. You'll get more views. If he's in the chat, he'll tell you. Literally gave him more views instantly. So, you know, it's a lot of research in you know, personal content, let alone if you fish, you got to catch fish. And if you're not catching fish, how are you getting out content on your schedule? That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, he's dropping a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I get it. And none of it doesn't make sense. And sometimes it's like very obvious, you know, but people make it harder than it is. There was somebody was asking in the comment, because there's a bunch of comments.
There's some good comments on.
There are, but I saw somebody want to know, what's your top 3 things for making good content during a live on the water? So when somebody's actually on the water, doing a live, give a couple of good things they can do.
Camera angles, number one. Absolutely number one. So the best, if you're a kayak angler, the best phone mount is not even a phone mount. You guys, have you seen Ram's adjustable transducer mount? Have any of you seen that? It's a really hard bending pipe, right? You mount that. because it's about 20 inches tall and it puts it right at chin level. Nobody wants to see your crotch. Let's be real,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Crotch shot.
90%
Look at Steve Billington.
90% of kayak anglers got the crotch angle. I scroll, right? Engaging, right? It's really hard. You have to train yourself to sit and talk to yourself on a camera for 2 to 4 hours, right? And I think that 2 to 4 hour range is very, very good, because especially with TikTok lives, if you got, in a bait making live, I can keep them engaged because they're seeing colors, they're seeing me move, right? But if you're not getting bit, you have to have kind of like a subscript in your head of like, okay, everything I'm thinking in my head, I have to just say, whether I'm looking at the comments or not, right? Then look at your comments, feed them a little bit. If you guys saw when your power went out, I was kind of feeding chat. And then once they bit, I was running with what they were saying, right? And when that died out, you got to give them a little more to eat on. And then you feed off that again. So just constantly engage your audience, right? Talk through it. Don't sit there and act like you know everything, right? Because it is fishing. We're at the bay of a wild animal biting something, and they eat hot dogs, they eat worms, they eat a piece of grass on a hook, right? So don't act like you know everything, and just assume everybody in the room in there needs it broken down, right? So when you're talking about a creature bait, explain and show what it is, right? Talk about how you fish it while you're fishing it. Keeping people generally 2 to 3 seconds is how long people will focus and then unfocus. So those pauses where you're just reeling, they'll go, they'll leave.
Yeah.
You gotta keep it going. It's hard on a boat, right? Because there's a guy, famous fisherman, Daniel Fay, does a great job with his lives. Now, it is extremely annoying. You have to understand, if you want the best camera angle possible on a kayak or a boat, you're going to put a phone or a DJI that you can stream it in a very hard spot in your face, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be difficult to fish around. So I'm not going to lie. Like when I first started fishing on the kayak, like I was trained on lives out in my shop, right? Lighting, everything was good. I would put my phone up on my camera mount and I would just get it as high and uncomfortable as possible and just fish around it to get used to it, right? Practice like you play, right? So on a boat, you want to put the camera where they can see you, not, your back turned to it's cool, right? But how are you going to read chat unless you have it in your face? So if you're streaming it from behind and you got the comments here on a little phone mount, awesome. But engagement in a live, as you know, in a podcast, as you know, in any show, people are tuning in because they want to watch, learn, or engage, right? And people not catching fish isn't fun to watch. You not talking isn't engaging, or they're not learning. So,
right,
it's, those are the biggest tips. I miss doing the lives a lot. I like them. Unfortunately, my personal TikTok got banned because of the lives. So you got to be ready for that too. I had 60-something thousand followers there. They got banned because people that probably don't like me habitually reported me consistently over and over, and they have a new flag metric of 5 hard flags and you get banned permanently. So after one live, I took my son to football, went to check a post I did, and permanently suspended, right? And Alex knows I fought this for 6 months. And they finally told me it's because I got flagged by 5 reports during a live feed. So I started over again on TikTok because why not? So be prepared, and be prepared for trolls. If you don't have hard skin, don't go live. Don't do it.
100%. So what he described is pretty much every day when I do a live on a thing. If you engage the people,
that's it.
It actually will drive the conversation.
Yeah.
The easiest live podcast to do is when the comments are flying or your guest is really engaging. And it happens. It's happened the last 2 days. I have a list of what I want to talk about, but once those comments start rolling, we're talking about something totally different. Never talk about what I intended on talking about.
Yep.
But as long as you keep the people engaged, that's how it goes. And I'm telling you, I've learned about the TikTok flags.
Yeah.
I learned real quick.
You got flagged by AI.
I did get flagged by AI. I haven't been reported by nobody yet, but still, there are certain things I have found out you can't say on TikTok that I can on YouTube.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know.
I'm gonna show. Because I'm trained not to say it. Let me pull this little item. Al, what is that?
Yep. Yep. A swim.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Yes. That was what I got told.
You can't even type it.
You can't type
I
it.
got
Nope.
told. Now I've gotten away with saying it,
Yeah.
and then everybody was like, "What?" But you definitely don't type it.
You can't type
Yep.
it. Yeah,
You
no.
definitely don't type it. But the lunch show goes down a rabbit hole in a hurry. That's the way I am, and the only reason is because of you guys.
Yep.
You guys say dumb stuff, and I got to go.
It's the audience fault.
It's the audience fault. It's not me. It's who I hang around.
And the title to get people to click in too.
Yeah.
So like Andrew's fishing lives were always like titled "Teach me how to catch a fish."
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
I
I
catch
mean-
really small fish or something dumb. You know,
Yeah.
like yeah.
That's it. Sounds like you need to understand it's your audience's podcast, not yours.
There you go.
Jerry, you know what? 100% do I not say that?
Yeah,
It's
you-
only as
Every
good as the
time.
guest and the audience.
That's right.
Yep.
'Cause
These
if
shows,
I-
these
Yeah,
shows
no.
are we're entertaining essentially, right? Like
yeah.
Yep.
TikTok, I treated TikTok lives as a show. It is what they want. If I do something they don't like, I don't do it again. Right?
Oh,
You
no,
know,
trust me.
you know the deal. You run a great show. We watch it. Every night I'm out there making baits on a Tuesday or Thursday. I got it on, whether I'm in chat or not. So
That's
it's a
an
great
easy
production.
show. We've got a good guest, and we got a lot of questions.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Well, yeah, he's doing all the talking.
Yeah,
I ain't
I
having
know.
to do anything.
I'm just clicking cameras.
Listen, and I'm like, listen, I knew that going in. That he's well spoken and he does social media and all that. Those are the easiest ones for me because I can just sit back and read a comment like every 5 minutes and it looks like I'm running the show. Hell, I ain't doing nothing. But I do know what you're saying is like you have to make and this is just me from social media, you got to make the connection with your audience. And if you keep making that connection, the same people will come back over and over. And that's when it starts growing and snowballing.
Mhm.
And the same thing with, the fishing content and everything. Like, yeah, I don't want to watch. And I love fishing, but I don't want to watch a guy sit there and be quiet for 4 or 5 minutes and he's not engaging and everything.
Well,
I'm not going to watch that.
Think about it we talk about not wanting to watch professional fishing because all you're doing is staring at somebody's butt. So we go back to him talking
Except for Patrick Walters. He's
Well.
got a nice butt. I'm just kidding.
But if you're doing a live, because I started out when I did my first few lives, I did it from over the shoulder on my YOLO Tech mount, right?
Mhm.
And I'm like, I get like 3 people watching. Well, as soon as I moved it to the chest rig and I could read the comments, because a trick I learned, as soon as you see somebody pop up in the comments on TikTok, you say, hey,
Say hi.
hey, Toby, thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Toby goes, oh, he talked to me. And then
Yep.
Toby says, and then the next person. And it helps grow that interaction more. And just like we do here, talking to the people in the comments, letting them drive the show. I mean, like you said, it's for y'all. I mean, it's we're just here, doing the song and dance. But I mean, it's the people in the audience.
That's why he was able to run with it. When
Yeah.
the power went out and he stayed on and just kept the show going.
Oh yeah, he did an outstanding job. I went back and watched that, and I was like, man, he kept right on smoothing, man.
And I didn't even know what the hell had gone on because we were at Cherry Street. I see all these like people trying to get in touch with me.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then Josh goes, hey, did you know the power went out? No, I'm over here trying to get a bourbon. I had no idea what was going on. But here's a perfect example. During the lunchtime show on TikTok, you're talking about camera angles and you're talking about camera angles.
Right.
So when we do the live well on Tuesday or Thursday nights, our TikTok camera only has so much space and we don't get you in there. We don't get him in there. But at lunchtime, it's close up on me. And so it's basically like what they're seeing on YouTube.
Yep.
And
Yep.
we get a much bigger engagement at lunchtime on TikTok than we do on Tuesday and Thursday
This
nights.
is, this is
And I
what the
think-
studio looks like.
Right.
well, I think it's 100% going basically by what Andrew just said. You don't want to look at certain things. You talk about eye level and all that. And what's the first thing I said when we popped him up? I said, look, pull up Andrew. Pull up Andrew. So look, his face, he's like almost dead centered in the camera. The face is high and everything. It's not down like a Snapchat and all that. All those little bitty details makes a ton of difference when you're trying to make your content.
My head's blocking the light. That's Alex knows. It is like he remembers. I order all the lights and stuff because I used to do the stuff out there, and it aesthetically pleasing, right? They're like, man, even if we're talking about like Play-Doh, right? But when they see it, they're like, this is put together pretty well, right? Like they got the lighting, they got their stuff together. They're more likely to watch.
Yeah.
Especially TikTok, man. TikTok bait making live, scroll through them. You'll see who has a good production, right? Like Alex knows my shop was set up for the lives. Everything is centric so they can see it. The lighting's proper. enough to hide stuff I don't want them to see. But then you
Lily
give them the
said-
some, and
hey.
you got.
Lily says it's your OCD.
Oh, I'm really bad. Lily knows.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You
And she
know.
made sure she capitalized OCD.
Everything is clean. My shop is clean. As soon as I'm done working every day, it's clean. I want it to look like I care because I do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Lily, it's the same. And I actually put the cameras back out there, so we're gonna start doing some stuff. But
That's awesome.
It's more of what do you want to watch? Like that's how you got to look at it. When I'm scrolling, if I see a bait maker, I'm a bait maker. I like watching people. But if they got smoke from the baits going and up in the chin and you don't see anything, you can't see them mixing anything, right? Like there's nothing to watch there, especially if they're not talking. So
Yeah.
For those of you that do go live, just film yourself in the modes that you're going to do it, right? Like, I put my camera and shoot video on my kayak in the camera angle, like of pretend holding a fish up so I can screenshot. Like all those angles you have to practice. As you guys know, your angles are good in the show.
Well, thank you very much. It's because that's Josh's OCD. Like he hit me today. I have a text message. He goes, I just kind of noticed today on your lunchtime live, the center camera is a little bit off centered. And so what did we do before the show? We adjusted
and adjusted
all
cameras, checked all the mics, tweaked everything.
That's
Me
what
and
you
you
got to
probably
do.
have a field day, man, because I'm the same way. It has to be like I have tape on the ground where the legs of these lights have to go. So
He's set up right, ain't he?
yeah, there's three. Look, I got a little square right here still because I cut an extra one. I put a little electrical, got my two big lights here. I got the mount here, the tripod angle taped down, so I can put them away and then put them right back where they go. I mean,
I appreciate that. I do. Okay, I got a picture of your shop or your little desk area and your lights and all right there and everything. But that's how you have to do it.
Yeah.
And then let's see. Jake's Lure Joint says, I stink at TikTok lives. Ask Andrew. And well, yeah, it is what it is. And you know what? Josh is going to get on to me because we got all these new people in the audience. You guys like and subscribe, click that notification bell. If I don't say that, he's going to be like, what are you doing?
So Jake is my buddy I was telling you about. Whoever was asking about the Kitech, right?
Yeah.
That's him.
That's him. Okay.
Jake is a really good friend of mine. So check him out. A lot of like I said, in the bait making community, there's a few of us that make sure we don't overstep. So, there are baits I'll never put out because he makes them and he won't do them because of me. And, like his piglet, his brush hog, it's a really good bait.
The piglet?
Yep. It's his brush hog.
Okay. Check. I like a brush hog.
He wacky rigs. So his wacky ton is a wacky centric worm, right? He has a lot of plastics that do different than me. And he also open pours. He's one of the best open pour guys I've ever met. So open pour swim baits, line through swim baits. His line throughs are, not your traditional ones. He does them right. So y'all check him out too. He's a good friend of mine.
Okay, listen, I'm gonna pull up Thad's comment, and then I actually want to go up to Jason Reardon Kayak and the one not above it but up there. He had a question. I want to make sure I ask.
Is this the Thad one?
Yeah, pull up Thad. We all feel bad for Thad, but man, as someone who is laying in bed in extreme pain and can barely move, it legit hurts to laugh. This show has made my day. So good. If we can bring a little smile to you, make you feel a bit better, Thad, that means the world to me. And also too, we want you to get better. Absolutely.
He's about to laugh, but he said he couldn't lift more than 5 pounds. And I was like, well, you can. When he got out of surgery, he was texting us, and I was like, well, it's a good thing you can still go fishing because you've only been catching 1 pounders lately.
That's right.
I was like, I'm sorry, dude, don't laugh. I know it's gonna hurt. And he was like,
that's true because the other day, wasn't it Thad? It was like, I'm on fish number 67. I'm on fish 87 or something like that in one of the comments. He was like, I got 100 now, and I'm like. Yeah, I was like, what is he catching?
Yeah,
if you're catching 100, you're doing dinks.
Yeah,
man.
He said it was nothing over a pound.
Nothing over a pound, but I caught he was like his own little MLF tournament going on right there. But scroll on up to Jason, not that one, going up. Keep on going. I want to make sure I ask. It was a question he had about, it's coming right in there, up at the top.
There you go.
Pull that one up there, right there.
There you go. There we go.
So I've not wanted to go into or join the TikTok world for personal reasons. So with that in mind, do you feel you can be as successful not being on all social media platforms? So if you don't want to go into TikTok, can you do it on Facebook and YouTube?
yes. So the only reason I started TikTok is because the live streaming on TikTok is far superior to anybody else.
Yep.
And what I mean by that is from comment to it popping up on my screen is instantaneous. So when it comes to an engagement standpoint, TikTok lives are the best. Okay. The features within the live for the creator are the best. You can dual screen your cameras to do the front and face. If you have an iPhone, that's a feature. They have partnership with Apple for that. And the comment feeds come in real quick. Now, when TikTok was going to get banned, right? That was a big topic in the small business community, right? Because a lot of people are profiting off of running solely on TikTok. I believe you post everywhere because there is a different set of things people like on all platforms, right?
That's
For
right.
me personally, I go to Facebook to comment, to read, to whatever. I go to Instagram to scroll and check out ideas for like kayaks or like new baits. I go to YouTube to learn, right? I go to TikTok sometimes to scroll. I only go to TikTok to watch the lives now, right? So you 100% can be. TikTok is just a very easy platform to build a community because the fishing community on TikTok is a lot more tight knit than anywhere else. They're less cutthroat. From angler to angler, non-business related, right? If you post a 2-pound fish on TikTok, you'll have 10 comments congratulating you. You'll get 0 likes on Instagram unless you're wearing a bikini and have an OnlyFans account, right? So
That's right.
that's you can be successful. It's when my TikTok got banned, I stopped posting on TikTok. Alex, what was it? Like 4 months. I said, "Yep, I'm done with it. I'll post a video just to do it." And then I had 2 go off and put me up a little bit. And I was like, let's maybe play with it again. But 100%, man. Just my advice for if you're not going to do all of them, right? Because shorts are the big thing. TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Reels, and Facebook Reels. You have to. You can still stay ahead of trends on Facebook and those things. But the problem is most of those trends are coming from TikTok. So when it comes to a shorts perspective, you have an advantage being on TikTok, whether you have an account or you're just scrolling, right? I understand that some people don't want the app. That's cool. But just kind of pay attention if you see people sharing videos or use chat gpt, use all these AI things. What are some trending fishing tags on TikTok? What are some trending tags or trending videos on TikTok? You don't have to have the platform to use it, but it is an advantage in that aspect.
Yeah, you can definitely see the trends faster on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
And they carry over eventually, like Andrew said earlier, but you can see them in real time, what's happening, and then you can transfer them to other places.
TikTok is easier. Point, shoot camera, post, right? Instagram is a lot more, it's a lot different. I mean, and this is just tidbits for those that don't have stuff going off on platforms. Facebook for me, it's generally like 2 to 3 weeks before a video goes off, right? Like all of my videos right now that are crusted, and I'm not going to talk about, I've gotten multiple videos in the 50 to 80 million view range. Okay. Like, so I have a good sampling of what works and when it's going to go off. Okay. And most of the ones that do go off are 2 to 3 weeks down the road. And that's when I see it. TikTok, if it doesn't go off right then or the next day or two, you're done. Instagram's the same. It's Meta. I will say if you're posting on Instagram and Facebook, experiment with tools. This is for any platform. Instagram, I don't know if they're prioritizing using their editing app Edits, but I started doing 1 a day in Edits because supposedly they're going to promote people using their editing software. Directly sharing from Instagram to Facebook, you'll get that immediate satisfaction of a higher view number right off the gate, but your engagement will be down on Instagram because the views are coming from Facebook.
That's right.
So I started posting to Instagram, to Facebook. And since I've done that, I mean, I'm up 12,000 followers on Facebook in a month from just doing that. So there's a lot of things you have to experiment with, but you can be successful in fishing on those 3 general. YouTube, I'm learning it. I just started over. I did it 3 years ago, got decent views, right? I wasn't as polished in editing. I was new on a camera, right? It's hard to talk on a camera if you're not good at it yet. So I just started in January, and my long form is struggling hard. I haven't figured it out yet. The shorts, phenomenal, right? Like, but I don't want to be known as a shorts guy. Like, TRK Fishing has 120 something thousand subscribers. His shorts go viral. His long form, 1,000 views, right? And I don't want YouTube to be that for me. So,
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's crazy because the algorithms are different on everything. Even on YouTube, the algorithm for a short is different than the algorithm for a long form. And the second you think you got it figured out, it seems to switch. TikTok's got its own. And I think Facebook and Instagram both are different. I don't care what anybody says. And it's just ridiculous and what blows our mind is we're like that too. We post across everything. And what's funny is it'll blow up on one and just drag on the others.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, but if you turn around just as an experiment and put almost the very same type of video down, almost the very same thing, and then it'll blow up on these, but not on the one it blew up on originally. Yeah. It's like it's smarter people than I can figure out that algorithm. I can't.
It's I do a lot of like parody stuff. Like I don't know if you've seen the Bugatti commercial where it's Bentley.
It's so funny.
Bentley, yeah.
So I put out a video for Jackson Kayak as a joke doing that. It went decent, right? It did less than I expected. I thought that would go off, right? I thought that'd be good. For how high the engagement was on that, I was like, this is going to go. It did 30,000, 40,000 Instagram, 100,000 on Facebook. TikTok, like 900 views. I'm like,
yeah.
And I'm used to TikTok algorithm, right? Like I know what goes off over there. Alex knows I post anything snakehead, it will get 1 million views, right? Until you hit the creator fund, then I swear they throttle you as soon as you hit it.
They do. Yeah.
Instagram, this is a tip for those that want to segment their content. Facebook, post a good meme. Get ready. Memes, for some reason on Facebook, go off. Just absolutely take off. I don't know why. Instagram is hit or miss for me. The ones on Instagram that do really well are like the original sound, like of some motivational talking. The ones I stitch of like a girl saying something and then cutting to me, right? Those edits. Those do really good on Instagram. You got to just play it. I'll dig on this for a while too, but literally just post.
Yep.
Just post, because the dumbest thing on the planet could go off. And you don't expect, like Jake, if he's still in here, man, him and I talk content all the time. And he cuts tubes. He makes some of the best tubes I've ever. I'm a shameless plug, Jake. Makes really good tubes. His videos with the tube cutting, it's literally him just cutting the tails. Dude, they go off. Like little 6-second video, and half of the comments are them saying, "Put your finger in there." Like, like he had one the other day. I saw it and I was like, oh, another Jake Tube video going viral right now. But like, you never know what is going to go off. So like anybody new to this, trying to get your feet wet, because you want to establish what kind of creator you are, right? You do. Like if you want to be serious, stay to your form, right? Like don't hop around different things pretending to be something you're not. But definitely play with different things in your comfort zone, because for me, I'll go all end of the spectrum. I'm a goof, but yet I'll be professional. I'll teach. I'll talk trash, but people have learned that's what you get with me. So for me, it doesn't matter. But if you spend 2 years making content that's strictly educational, and then they see you doing the little dance on the boat, like the Indonesian boat racers and stuff, trying to view hunt.
Yeah, they can figure it out pretty quick. Yeah, they figure that stuff out. I mean, like, we're not going to get to all the questions and comments tonight. It's impossible. But there's a bunch of them. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm tired of the lizard videos too already.
Oh my God.
I don't know why so many guys in there were talking about me in a bikini, and they wanted to know, Andrew, what would your color bikini be?
Ooh.
I mean, it was a serious question in the comments.
I think Steve Billington's on some pain meds tonight because he's been hilarious.
Steve's on a roll.
My favorite color is blue. But I heard black makes you look thinner, so I'd probably go black.
God, I need black.
Bikini.
Oh yeah, and Thad was the one that was wanting to know the bikini color.
Thad wanted to know what?
Look at the screen.
I don't want to see any of y'all in a bikini.
Thad,
All right.
yes, you do.
Thad, it's an option on our drop ship for custom bikinis. I'm ordering you a TFC bikini.
Hey, if you put my, I'll wear one.
So, oh my.
Oh gosh.
I'll do. Anyway, listen, I got no shame or anything like that. All right, so we've been going 2 hours. That's generally about what we go. So I tell you what, though, we need to have you back on pretty soon because I really honestly think we like just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
With some of this stuff. And I mean, we could do another 2 hours on baits. We could do another 2 hours on the social media and all that. But guys are going to go back and watch this, especially those in the comments, and listen, because there was a lot of information dropped, especially if you want to be a content creator, because I know exactly what you're talking about with a lot of that stuff. And we're learning as we go. But I like what you said right there at the end. What's your identity? And, if you're doing that and then you try to do something just off the wall, it's not going to work. They figured that out pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
So you got anything, you too? Because I know you guys are like in love. I want to make sure you get the, and I'm just teasing you guys. I just know how much you like him. I'm not talking about the Kiefer, dude. Not David. We ain't doing the Kiefer tonight.
No Kiefer.
No Kiefer tonight. And that's for another one. Joshua Meek Evans, late to tuning in. Well, we appreciate you like and subscribe. But you know him?
Yeah, Josh is my new kayak. That was his old custom. He got me on Jackson's team. Old Army buddy. We were stationed in the same unit. He's reps TFC. Good, great friend.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So, dude, this has been phenomenal. Doc Lock said crazy. So yeah, it's actually been a really good show. And I'll be honest with you, I very rarely go back and watch our shows because hell, I was here. I know what was said and all that. I think I'm gonna go back and watch this one, especially the last hour.
Yeah.
For all this, because there's a lot to learn from what Andrew has said tonight. And so, Andrew, first of all, thank you for being willing to come back after the first, I don't even know, fiasco is the right way to say it. But dude, I'm telling you, listen, I actually really appreciated the conversation and the information that you were willing to share tonight.
Hey,
yeah,
thank you guys for having me.
Anytime I'll be honest, anytime I can take something out of it, it was a good show.
Yeah, and don't be one of those creators that just rips off everything they see everyone else posts.
Right.
Well, that's true. That's true. I'm gonna rip off all yours.
If you do, tag the person that you're, give the person credit.
Yes,
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. So anyway, well, thank you, honestly, and like I said, right now you can tell everybody where can they go get your baits until I get them here in the shop.
TacticalFishingCo.com. If you guys are new and order from the site, code new20 is 20% off. And we're Tactical Fishing Company on all socials. Andrew Blair Fishing on everything for my personal content. That's what this YouTube is being streamed to, is my personal account. So
okay, absolutely. So buddy, I tell you what, I appreciate it very much for you joining us, and then Tony and Alex and Tim, you guys did a fantastic job.
And if you're not new and you've ordered before, use Alex to save 10%.
Shameless. Listen,
knew it was coming. It was just a matter of time.
You should have been typing. You should have typed it in the comment box there.
You should have. Now listen, that's what I hear about every single show. But it's good though. But listen, you stand behind the company that you represent. You like it. You do, and you actually
don't
fish
have
for
to
this
use
stuff.
my code if you want to order it, but you should.
There you go. Well, you should. You get a little discount. Absolutely. So anyway, bud, appreciate you joining us tonight. And everybody in the comment section, no matter where you was watching it, hey, great show tonight. I will be back tomorrow at noon with the last lunch break of the week, and then we're all going to go fish and enjoy the weekend. So if I don't see you tomorrow and you're out on the water this weekend, stay safe, because we always want you to come back later at a later time, and we don't want to hear anything bad happening to you. And Thad Moody, I hope you feel better, son, so that you can get back out there and start slamming those 12-inch fish. And, I had to throw that in there for you there at the end.
Dink's got rights, too.
Dink's got rights,
They survive. They fight hard to survive in this world. You get them.
You can't. Well, you can't be a big one unless they all start off as Dinks, right?
They're all Dinks.
Go. Anyway, guys, we appreciate you. Great show tonight. Andrew, thank you again. Hey, again, like and subscribe if you're watching here. Any little thing helps. So we will see you guys on the next one. Y'all have a great weekend. Here we go. Oh yeah, Tim. So you know what I did? I was sitting there thinking, because I hit the buttons during the day, and I was like, oh damn, I got to cut the live well off. But Tim did that. Hey, pull Andrew back up. Hey, dude, great job. Appreciate that a lot. And I'm not bullshitting you. I might actually go back and watch this one.
Hey, Tony knows, anybody, feel free. Like, I am not a gatekeeper. I hate anything I learn. I want people to benefit from. Like, I have fun doing this, like the content side. Like, I don't have to do it.
Right.
I have a brand. I could just do that, or vice versa, right? But I've been taught very valuable lessons by people. And I paying it for it. Alex knows. He'll tell you. Any secret I learn or trick or algorithm, man, I'll send that thing out. Like, hey, try this next time. Like, it's.
Did it go off?
Well, baby, we're not
We're
off.
not off yet.
Hit in stream. Sorry, guys.
I hit
Hey,
it.
wait.